Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. I hope wherever you are in the world that you are well. In today's video I am going to be diving into the Undergrowth, the Cosmic Brushes. Undergrowth. I am so excited about this palette. I am wearing my murkiest green t-shirt for the occasion. We're going to be diving into this palette today. I'm going to be doing some swatches. I'm going to be creating some sort of look on my eyes, and I'm also going to compare this with some other palettes that I have in my collection. I am a big fan of green, so I have quite a few that are already in my collection that are a similar theme, a similar colour story, and maybe you already have these in your collection as well and this is going to de-influence you. This will prove that you already have a lot of these shades already in your collection, or if you don't have, then maybe this will prove to you that this is something that you want. So if that sounds good to you, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more from me. I post at least 3 times a week on a Monday, a Wednesday and a Friday, but I'm posting every single day in October, so there will be more content, so much more content coming up in October with this palette. I'm already so excited to do like an eyeshadow palette bingo, to do 3 looks with, to do all of the content. So let's get into some swatches. So this is what the packaging looks like close up. The packaging for Cosmic Brushes palettes is always so beautiful, and this is their 20 pan palette, and this is what the colours look like inside. So beautiful. So I feel like in this palette we've got a really great selection of obviously like warmer browny tones, and then there's a few cooler sort of minty tones, but it is mostly what I would describe as like murky, muddy, poopy browns, which I love. I know that doesn't sound like a compliment, it really truly is. These like warm tones are beautiful. I feel like we've had so many cool toned releases, and I'm such a warm toned gal that this having so many warm tones in really is like very impressive to me. I absolutely love this colour story, but I also love that there are a couple of cool toned options if that is something that you like to do, which I definitely do. Doing more of a warm look with like a pop of something cool, like the contrast between the two can be very interesting, like visually interesting. I love that there are some brighter shades, so like I say, there's that mint, there's this shade which is more of a lime, like there's a variety in the green theme, which I think is really unique. And obviously Cosmic Brushes are known for their duochromes, their multichromes. They are fantastic. Obviously the mattes are incredible as well. I have no doubt that the quality of this is going to be beautiful, but I'm interested to see how this actually looks like swatched and like in real life as an eye look. I'm so interested. So let's start with some swatches. I'm going to just do them on my arm, pull my sleeve up and make a bit of room. So I'm just going to go along the top. First row, we have got Vegetation. I'm also not going to be able to say a lot of these names. So Vegetation, Herbarium. I don't know. I'm just going to do a little second layer on both of those, and then Algae. I know how to say that one. So it's like a minty green in that Herbarium one, and then Algae is more like a true grass green. So pretty. Oh, I'm so excited about this palette, can you tell? Then we have got another matte, and this one is called Fern, and this is definitely warmer. Like you can see the difference there between Fern and Algae. It's definitely warmer, like it's a similar sort of depth, but definitely more of a warm undertone. Then next up we have Wilderness, which is like a gold. I don't think that that is a duochrome. I think that that is just a shimmer. Just a shimmer, as if that's a bad thing. It is beautiful, but I think that's like a regular sort of shimmer shade. And then the first colour on the second row, we have got Nettle, which is a beautiful deep green, like a forest green. I will apologise, I'm not very good at swatches. I can't actually see as I am swatching these on my hand, so I apologise if they are very, very wonky, but that Nettle shade, beautiful. Then next up, I think that this is the first multi-chrome. This one is called Undergrowth. Look at that shade. That's like a gold, a green, and almost a teal. Like if I angle that so that it's not catching the light, I am gonna live in that all autumn long. That is incredible. Then we've got another matte. This one is called Murky, and this is definitely more like what I would consider more of a traditional khaki shade. Definitely matches my t-shirt pretty perfectly, but again, a beautiful, beautiful muddy sort of green shade. Then we've got another shimmer, and this one is called Swamp. And again, that's like more of like a cool toned, grey toned brown, but almost a little bit bronzy, like a really unique shade. Then the last shade on that second row is called Bark, and I'm trying to see if this is a true black or if it is just the darkest version of a greeny brown. I'm not sure. I think that that is just black, you know? In the pan that almost looks a little bit grey, but I feel like the depth in that, I don't feel like it has any sort of undertone to it, you know? So then the third shade is Boggy. Ooh. Again, you can see there, that one feels warmer than this one, where this one feels more cool toned. And that's a duochrome as well, that Boggy shade, look at that. That's like a bronze, and then when it's catching the light, it's almost got a lime greenness to it. Pretty pretty. Then we have got Roots, which is more of like a tan brown neutrally shade, the sort of shade that I would just use through the crease, put a shimmer on, call it a day. Beautiful warm toned matte. Then the last three on this third row, I'm very interested in. Have you ever seen an eyeshadow that colour? It's like a greeny mustard, such a unique shade. That one's called Marsh, and that one is completely matte. Then we have got, I'm not going to be able to say this, Lychen? I don't know. Lychen. I don't know. I don't know how you're meant to say that, but that's almost like a lime. That as a pop right on the inner corner, like tell me that that is not a look. Tell me that that is not beautiful. It's almost like neon. That is so pretty. Then this next multi-chrome, let me get real close. This is called Fireflies. Just take a moment. I need to like bring that a little bit further around so that you can see it. Look at that shift. It's like green, but also every colour of the rainbow. So, which one was Undergrowth? This one, which is obviously deeper, got more of a base to it. Fireflies. I think Fireflies might actually be where I'm going to live all autumn long. Then we're on to the last row. And I do feel like I am potentially going to run out of space here on my arm, but I'll try and make it work. We have got Clay, which is a beautiful warm toned burnt orange shade. Not too deep, not too light, will absolutely work for a lot of different skin tones. For me, I would like pack that all over the lid, do a big wing, and just leave it as a completely matte look. That is how I love to use shades like that, these like warmy shades, especially because I've got blue eyes. I think that these sort of warm orangey tones really bring out the colour in my eyes. So then we've got another shimmer, and this one is called Fungi. And yeah, that is just like a regular shimmer, but the regular shimmers are also so beautiful. Then we have got Reeds, which is almost like a taupey, sort of mixed with a mint green. Again, you're not even in shot there, sorry. Oh, my arm is going to sleep. Very, very unique sort of pastel-y shades. And then the last two shades, right down on my elbow here, we have got Cordyceps. Don't ask, I've got no idea. But again, like a bright bronze, but almost when that's catching the light, it's got like a mustardiness to it. And then the last shade, Sludge. I love that name. These are like sludgy browns. And that is, let me shuffle back a bit, that is the colour story. I'm blown away by those multi-chromes, truly. So, this is all of them. We have got vegetation, herbarium, algae, fern, wilderness, nettle, undergrowth, which is that duochrome one, murky, swamp, bark, which is the black, boggy, roots, marsh, lichen, oh no, I'm saying that wrong, fireflies, clay, fungi, reeds, my arm is slipping, cordyceps, and sludge. So that is all of the shades, and I will say I do use studio lights. I do use a lot of lights. I can't currently show you in natural light because the sun has gone down. That is how late it is. I also haven't had my tea yet, so if I am delulu, you know why. But just let me tap out the creases in that eye primer that I put on, which was the Beauty Bay one. I already have my little eye patches on, which are the Revolution ones, and let's just start. I will be using my Cosmic Brushes eye brushes. I can't remember the name of these. They're the purple set. I love these. I love these so much. My two favourite ones I've got replacements for. I love these so much. I am going to be doing a video next month talking through all of my favourite brushes, so if you want to know more about all of the brushes and everything that I use, follow, because that will be coming soon. But let me just open the brand new ones. So the two that I ordered replacements for are CB1 and CB4. So that's CB1 on the top and CB4 on the bottom. They're just the perfect, like this is the perfect size for like blending something out or just putting something through the crease very quickly. But I love these small brushes because you can be very precise with where you put the colour, and I just find a smaller brush is so useful to have. So what am I gonna do today? I want to use that Firefly shade. I mean, of course I do. I want to put that lichen right on the inner corner to do like a pop. What else do I want to use? Maybe algae, maybe clay, maybe this one. Also, I did get like Undergrowth inspired nails. This is Glossify Pumpkin Spice with a chrome powder over the top that I can't remember what brand it was from, but I think it was called Spectrum. I will ask my nail girl and I will leave it down below. But yes, I did get like, this is my first autumn set and I'm feeling like it's tonal, you know? It works in my head. So let's just like stop rambling and let's just get on with. I need to tap out the creases in that eye primer again. Let's just do some makeup. So I'm going to start with that new big fluffy brush, which was CB1, and I'm going to dip into Roots or Clay? Roots or Clay? I think let's go Clay. Let's do something a little bit warmer today. Just going to dip into that. These are very, very pigmented, and I'm going to tickle this through the crease. If you have made it this far into the rambling, firstly, thank you so much. Secondly, congratulations. And if you haven't already, it really does help me out a ton if you hit that like button. So even if my rambling is annoying, help a gal out. It does help a lot if you hit that like button. I'm just going to use a little bit of that Reeds shade, which was that much lighter one, and I'm going to use that to like help blend out that top edge a little bit. Not that it needs any help, but you know, it's a way to use another shade. I'm just going to use that same brush and just tickle over that top edge a little bit. And I'm probably going to clean, you know, like sharpen this up on the outer corner, so I'm not too worried about, you know, any of this or any fallout or anything. Obviously these eye patches do help to minimize any fallout. I don't usually experience a great deal of fallout with this formula, but it's just nice to have a little pamper every now and again, and why not at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday evening? Why not indeed? So I'm also just buffing that Reeds shade sort of through the inner crease and like almost into the socket a little bit, just to add a little bit of that like pastel-y green right in there. I really like this shade. It is like building up nicely, but it's still quite subtle, if that makes any sense. I'm just going back in with a bit more of that clay, and like they just blend so beautifully. I'm going to take a CB3, which is a little bit smaller, and I'm going to dip into Sludge, this one down here, and I'm going to keep this more on the lid just to start deepening up on like the outer corner. I don't want to do anything too complicated today. I do want to try like a decent amount of the colours, but also it's 8 o'clock on a Wednesday evening, so I don't want to go too crazy. There will be a time and a place for going crazy, and that's I just don't have the mental capacity for it today, truly. So then when I have less of that colour on the brush, I'm sort of wiggling over where that clay shade is and blending the two together. Beautiful. So I'm just going back over again with a bit more of that clay shade. I love that shade. I honestly think that that is going to be one of the most used shades for me, because I will just easily be able to incorporate that into so many different looks, because I love that like warm shade through the crease. I think that that's just going to be sort of like a mindless shade for me. And I'm just going to make sure that that darkest shade, Sludge, is really nice and intense on the lid. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I will just use the same brush and I'll go into Nettle, which one was it? This one, the dark green, and I will just use that same brush, just wiping it off on my my pyjama bottoms. Am I ruining the illusion for you that I have my life together? And I'm just going to use that to deepen up a little bit more on the outer corner. I'm reluctant to go into the black, but also it's there for a reason. I feel like I want to just stay away from it for today's look. Maybe another time. So then I'm just going to do one last blend with no more colour on the brush. I'm just sort of moving the pigment around that's already there on the eyeball. One last little blend, and then honestly I think I just want to put that Firefly shade all over the lid. Do I want to do that? I want to blend that a little bit more. Can I just put one shimmer? I mean, yeah, I can do what I want. I'm just going to pick up some of that Firefly. I mean, just look how smooth it is. It's like there's no chunky glittery to it. It's just the most incredible foil. And if I try and keep quite still, obviously like right here is still tacky. And actually if I just go over that little area with the eyeshadow primer brush, just to re-tacky that up a little bit. No more product, but just a little bit of love with that brush. Then if I swipe, like press very, very lightly and swipe, you will be able to see how quickly this almost turns into a foil on the eye. Look at that colour. Look at that dimension. Can you see? Oh, I really hope you can see how beautiful that is. It's incredible. Yeah, Fireflies. Fireflies, you have my heart. Like, I haven't even blended that, but I feel like where that is over the darker shades out here, it is sort of adapting to be a little bit darker, but also it's got that beautiful, like, goldeny warmth to it, as well as the green. I love that shade so, so much. So now what do I want to do? I want to just do a little blend. A little blend over the top of that Firefly shade, but I don't want to like disturb it basically at all. Yeah, I am so happy with that. So now I want, let's take that CB4, which was that smaller one that I said I just repurchased, and I'm going to dip into that one that I can't pronounce. The like limey one. Lyshin? It's like the Made by Mitchell colour. And I'm going to tap that on the inner corner. I will probably add more of this when I have done the rest of my face to really intensify the colour once I've got like my concealer and everything on. That's fun. That's a really fun pop of colour. I love that colour. I mean, I knew I would. Obviously, I like bright colours. Even though this is it's like a neutral leaning colourful palette. Does that make sense? But this pop is something a little bit special. I am very much enjoying. I think I'm happy with how that's looking, you know? Just a little bit more of that darkest green, which was Nettle. A little bit more of that. And I think I am completely happy. Yeah, I am completely happy with how that is looking. Oh, I'm thrilled. So I'm going to go off. I'm going to do the rest of my face, and then we can do the under eye, and then I will show you a comparison between some palettes, because just looking at this I can see how this is similar to a few palettes in my collection. I can also see how there's a few palettes in my collection that would seem similar to this, but that are quite different. So I'm gonna go off, do the rest of my face, and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm just finishing off with a little brush of Wow Brow through the brows. So everything that I used on the face, just for very, very quick reference, I just had it. this sleek In Your Tone foundation and concealer combo that I have been loving. I used the Revolution cream bronzer that's in my project pan. I used the e.l.f. Tahiti blush, again, that's in my project pan. I used the Technic marbled bronzer over the top, and actually just looking in the viewfinder there, I think I may have gone a little bit overboard with it. What's new there? The Milani Baked Blush in Berry and More. The liquid liner is that 17 one that I am obsessed with in bronze, and I just used the mascara out of my project pan as well. So that is how everything is looking. I want to finish up under the eyes, and then I will like turn off some of my studio lights so that you can see how this is looking in sort of low light, and I will show you the swatches in low light as well. I can properly do low light due to the fact that the sun has gone down. So I'm going to put a bit of clay under the eyes. I do like a smoky, warm under eye, so wiggle this all the way along. And I didn't like sharpen up that outer corner, so I feel like that rounds off quite nicely. And where the wing is more, oh, just realised I didn't put a lipstick on, that's why my face is looking a bit strange. Where the wing liner is more subtle, it's not black, I feel like that rounds off nicely. I'm just going to take a little bit of Nettle, which was that darkest green that I used on the outer corner, and run that under the outer corner of the lower lash line as well, but not too much. Just something a little bit smoky, like so. And I just want to add a little bit more of that Lycian shade right onto the inner corner now that I've got all of my concealer and everything down, and I can really blend that out, buff it into the skin so it like diffuses, but it's more of like a matte inner corner highlight, which I love. I do think there is something so lovely about having a matte shade there rather than a shimmer, and obviously that shimmer across the lid is just doing it all. So I'm going to put a bit of mascara on the lower lashes, and then I will turn down some of the lights and we can see how this looks in low light, because I think that's really going to make that pop. So this is what the eyes are looking like just on my ring light, not with any of the other studio lights on. Just for reference, I do usually have 4 studio lights and a ring light, so this is significantly less light than what I would usually have on. And this is what the swatches look like. I do feel like they look different. You can see where like the piece of light, the one light, is reflecting a little bit. And then if I just get my phone torch up, this might even show it. Does that show it any differently? Like a directional light. It really is such a special shade. It is beautiful. Right, let me just put all my lights back on. So that is how all of that is looking. I actually love that the colours there with that bronze wing. I feel like that all like ties in really nicely, and if you've seen my channel before, you know I need absolutely no convincing to use that bronze liquid liner. I am just gonna, I can't take myself seriously when I haven't got a lip product on. I'll just use the MUA Intense Colour Lip Liner in Heroic. There we go. I feel like I can take myself seriously now. It's like, does she even have a mouth? I don't know. So in terms of palettes that I think are a similar sort of vibe. I've got 3 that I wanted to sort of highlight, and honestly I've gone overboard on the bronzer. We're ignoring it. So, Undergrowth. I feel like if you are most drawn to the bronzy tones, the orange tones, the gold tones, and if you already have neutral, I feel like a lot of the tones there are quite similar. So if I just try and hold these up in front of the camera, you might be able to see, I do feel like there is a little bit of crossover. Not so much. I feel like some of the undertones are similar. Obviously in the neutrals, you have some of the like mustardy tones that will complement the shades that you also get in Undergrowth. So I feel like there are some similarities. Obviously Undergrowth is definitely leaning more green. Then another one that I wanted to talk about is the Beauty Bay Botanical palette. When they first started sort of sneak peeking this and saying that the palette was called Botanical, basically the palette that I was hoping for is Undergrowth. So again, I just wanted to show you like the similarities between the two. So again, I feel like there are those sort of murky brown shades. There are similar undertones, but obviously in Undergrowth you get more greens. I feel like if you wanted something to complement Undergrowth and you wanted more of those like purpley tones and the peach tone that you get in the Botanical palette, I do feel like these go together very well. Like the undertones are similar, but Botanical for me just missed the mark a little bit, where Undergrowth is definitely filling that gap for me, where I was hoping that this colour story was going to come out with this, and I was a bit disappointed in this colour story. So out of the two, if you're wanting greens, if you're wanting those murky, muddy greens, Undergrowth wins that one for me. And then another one, I don't know if you can still get that Beauty Bay one. I will have to look it up. You probably can. It's still a fairly new release. Another one that I just wanted to mention very quickly, because I don't think that you can get this one anymore, is the Odin's Eye and Angelica Nyquist palette, the Hella. Ooh. And again, I feel like potentially the Odin's Eye is a little bit closer to the Botanical palette, but again, those top 2 rows on the Odin's Eye palette definitely have a similar vibe to the Undergrowth palette, where it's those muddy greens. But again, I feel like the quality of the duochromes in the Odin's Eye palette for me missed the mark a little bit. I mean, they're pretty, but I mean, on this one, the duochromes have sort of gone hard pan quite quickly, and I haven't found that with any of my Cosmic Brushes palettes. So just worth noting, I think that the quality is better in the Cosmic Brushes ones. So one last look at that whole colour story. Honestly, as soon as they started sneak peeking the Undergrowth palette, the amount of messages that I got on Instagram, like I think I must have got like 10-15 messages on Instagram from people like, "You're getting this, aren't you?" And I was like, absolutely. This colour story feels like home to me. It's warm, but it's green and it's colourful. It's got the variety, but it's still sort of all very tonal. The sort of palette that I would consider very easy, where you can just sort of mix and match so many of the different colours. You don't have to think about it too much because they all go together so well, which is what I love so much about the Cosmic Brushes colour story. The way that they build the palettes, it really does just seem very seamless. Like any of the shimmers will go with any of the mattes. The mattes will all sort of be interchangeable. There's no duplicates. Like every shade fills a gap in the palette, and I also think that that is not very common. So many palettes you get and you're like, there's 4 shades here that could have easily been narrowed down to 2, and then a different area of the colour story could have been expanded on more. And that was my cue to stop filming. Can you tell that my husband is cooking tea? That's how you know it's done. When the fire alarm goes off. Oh, I'm so hot now. We didn't know where the cat had gone. Woo! So, I need to decompress now. Final thoughts, of course I absolutely love it. The quality is fantastic, the colour story is dreamy. I am a huge fan. I'm so hot. So if you want to see more reviews, that I don't think I have ever actually had any videos interrupted by the fire alarm before, so this is the first time for everything. If you want to see more reviews from me, and definitely an eyeshadow palette bingo, like randomising all of the shades and trying to come up with an eyeshadow look, if you want to see that, I will be doing that very, very soon. I'm already very excited to film that. Obviously not tonight because it is 8:15 in the evening and I need to go and eat my tea because it's ready apparently. So if you want to see more from me, you can subscribe down below, but until next time, when hopefully the fire alarm isn't going off, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye.